There he is. Hello. Sorry, I slept in.
Yeah, it's actually perfect.
Really?
I was behind on getting Cam ready for Ricky, and so just kept going.
Good.
You awake?
Not just yet. Yeah, I had one of those nights with multiple kiddo wake-ups. Dad,
Yeah.
heat up my heat pack again. 2 a.m. 4 a.m.
No.
Heat pack.
Do it yourself.
No. Yeah.
Heat.
Yeah. How are you, man?
Good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's been nice weather here, and we're actually cutting knack walls right now, which is weird.
What?
We've totally switched business plans.
What did I miss?
It's been a year since we last talked.
Don't do that. I haven't had enough sleep to absolutely know that that's not true.
Speaking of sleep, just to go non sequitur on non sequitur, I had what felt like an hour-long dream where I was like, it was mostly about Rob Lockwood. I don't know why. I was like hanging out with him at a house he owned that wasn't his actual house. And then I had this weird long dream. It was he had some crazy startup he was working on. Maybe I've like stumbled into a reality that's happening somewhere else.
I think so. I've been following his progress on Instagram. He looks like he lives in some beautiful palatial estate. I keep expecting to see peacocks. Have you got peacocks, Rob?
Please have peacocks. Yeah, anyway, so knack walls, making one for a friend for his garage because he's moved into a new shop space. My old shopmate, Joe. Hi, Joe. I'm looking at it right now. It's done. It's maybe the biggest one we've made, actually. And then we're making another one for behind our 3D printer that's off of a remnant because I'm tired of an overflow of 3D printing accoutrements that are just everywhere. It's overflowed the places we built for them. And I was like, oh, we have a thing for this, I think.
It's quite funny. The printer mess is a thing. Like, since we got Laura's bamboo, something about the process, but it attracts accumulation and junk. It's like unbox another roll of filament, jam it in, and they're just like the boxes just stay there, and there's little scraps of PLA everywhere, and broken prints, and it's weird.
One of the weird things that will clog up the little chippy robot vacuum is the little test purge strips that you pull off the front and the back of the bamboo, and Prusa does it too. If those land on the floor, they get stuck going through the roller and they won't eject, and it complains about it. Of all the things, like that is classically one thing that will just do it every time.
Oh, those things are annoying, but I understand why they're necessary.
Yeah. Speaking of printers, one of the solutions, I think I talked about those a little bit, but super dry filaments helped with our blobby, gross PETG prints. I've gone all over the spectrum with, including starting to, on a suggestion from somebody, tracking the temperature of the hot end, the temperature outside, how dry the filament is. Like a big factor has been speed of print. So like one of its best virtues is its speed, right? But unfortunately, one of the things to get around PETG blobbing grossness is to mess with the temperature, but then that wasn't working. I was going too cold and still getting blobs, so I had to slow it way down. And the easiest trick to that, just off the bat, is to go into the printer settings and just on the bamboo and say, do silent mode, and it will cut the speeds by half.
Yeah.
It was going from 3.5 hours to 6-hour prints. And I was like, well, it's working, so we'll try that. And slowly, I've now made a separate profile, a separate print that is called Hot and Slow.
Sounds sweaty.
And if it's hot outside, it goes slower, but it only is about 4 hours. So
Hot and slow. I like it.
That's title options right there.
Yeah, cool. Getting smart. I like it. Yeah, Laura has been running these really quite long, complex parts for a sculpture she's making. And she's been prototyping different versions of it and finally came up with her production version. She's got like 8 days to go and 12 days of print time before the show installs. So she was like, right, I better run it on ludicrous mode, and ran the first one, and it failed after about 16 hours. Got a spaghetti monster.
Did it catch it?
Yeah, it paused the machine.
That's so crazy.
At like 4 a.m. Anyway, she's running the next one now, but at normal speed, and it looks like it's going to be successful, but it means she doesn't actually have enough time to print all the parts before the show. So I'm like, just buy another one. Get another bamboo. Come on.
Don't have a friend you're on there that's got one?
Yeah.
I've been tempted a few times. But no more machines till they all make enough money.
That's right.
First
Yeah.
thing.
What else are you making over there?
Can you hear the router? It's making a neck wall. That's what that is. It's too noisy. We're making bases for we're in the last 2 parts, and they go in a cycle, a one and done cycle right now for all of the pre-orders of pedestals should be shipped this week.
Awesome.
It's Wednesday right now. I'm planning to be starting to ship the last batch of those tomorrow and Friday. And they're running great. They look great. Ricky is doing the cycling on the mill and also running the router. It's been going pretty smooth. Pretty good.
Fantastic. Nice. That must feel good.
How about you? Yeah.
What's going on here? I've just installed my strange little sauna prototype yesterday. Whatever it is. I don't know what that thing is.
The tunnel.
The tunnel is in the gallery. Well, the structure of it is, and then I'm supposed to be doing like a Meet the Maker artist talk on Saturday. And I think I'm just going to turn up with all the like little modular accessories that I've made to the little seats and shelves and bits and bobs. I think I'm going to turn up with those when the gallery's open on Saturday morning and just kind of do a little demo thing, which will lead into a very informal little Q&A with the curator there. But I've seen suffering from a bit of imposter syndrome actually being in that context. It's like, I don't often, like I spend a lot of time around galleries because of Laura's work and helping her, but it's very rare that I have my name in that context. And so I definitely have this sort of sense of like, is it good enough? Is it interesting enough? Like I've enjoyed making it, but does that, which is fine. I can get it. I can get over that, but I'm just aware that I've got a bit of that sort of like imposter vibe going on. And it's just felt like quite rushed sort of making it at the last minute because I had a sort of a week less than I thought because of COVID. Johnny came into work yesterday. So the night before I installed it, I stayed back late and sort of had to remachine some parts because when I pulled it apart, I broke bits of it. And I had this, I think I posted a story of like a massive crash on the pencil sharpener and then had other issues on the other machines when I was recutting parts. And anyway, Johnny came in the next morning, like sent me a screenshot of the file manager on the machine. He was like, it's just like all these file names, which are just increasingly intense expletives. Like,
final.
No, just like
Final.
Anyway, that's in, and I've still got a bunch of little things I want to make to put it, sort of finish off the display, whatever it is. I think I'm making a cubby. I think that's what it is. I like cubbies.
Well, my thought when you're saying that is if you don't have a QR code to your kit of products, then you're probably failing
What do you mean?
in that regard. I mean, don't use it as a marketing exposure thing, but just as like a, hey, you know all these parts? Well, they actually make something you can put in your house, or like want to see this, just put kit of part or kit. Why can't I say it now? Kit of what? We have too many names for this thing. Kit of parts.
Sauna.
That's what it's called. Kit of sauna.
Oh.
And they just put a QR code and just let them go search on their own. You don't have to talk about it.
Well, thankfully, because we did the reception of the gallery last year, there's like in the next room, there's a whole bunch of kit parts and our stuff in there. So it's like an easy link. But yeah, no, it's a good thought.
I would say too that I will give you the ego confidence boost needed in that if you get concerned about not feeling special enough or warranted to be there, just remember that you have like all these people on the internet that are obsessed with this one machine you have in your shop that makes really cool parts that is there. It's sitting there. So like, I guess throw an iPad up and just show how it's made or something. Or just talk about that the whole time.
Yeah, sure. It's all people want to see.
It seems like it fascinates anybody that's in front of it.
Are you standing today? You're jiggling around.
I am. My back has been driving me crazy. I think my chair that I've used for freaking 10 years is I've done something to the chair sitting in it in a certain way. So now I just feel like this the whole time. And
not good.
I'm standing more, trying another chair, which is low. So I felt weird and
cool.
Moving a lot.
Good.
Moving more.
Hey, what was that form thing you sent me the other day? That looks cool.
The
I haven't checked it
form
out.
thing, I did try it out today. Probably shouldn't have, but I found it to be delectable. It's called Fill Out. I might put a link to it. And I sent you a link actually to it too. I can do a little...
did. Oh. The PDX. Oh, it's pretty.
So
hang on. So this isn't Fill Out yet.
What's amazing, so it tags into any Airtable base or page, and so you can have all your normal form things, but you can like style them differently, and it has all this conditional logic that's like way beyond what you can do inside Airtable. You can have fields that are hidden, but they can be still filled out. So like I have this page where I just have been making this as like a product RFQ page for people that might want to buy stuff we don't have listed from like some of the brands we were carrying. And so you can fill out these SKU and quantity things for different items, and they fill out into one field at the end by some logic that does a little formula. Oh my God, it's so cool. So you have hidden stuff. You can have page logic. You can have like things hide and then show if that some of that was there before, but it's just like such a good little thing. And then it just dumps it right into your Airtable.
Cool. Creates confetti when you submit the form.
Yes, I can turn that on and off too.
That looks really good. So it's like, how is it connected to Airtable? Through another service or natively hooked in?
It's called Fill Out. Fill Out does that's
hooked into Airtable
service, I guess. And then there's other integrations that it can have on its own. But I've simply I just wanted, like, I've already thought of a couple more things that I might rebuild our RFQ form, because there's stuff in there that I would love to, like, you can have it do like math so that you could basically like you could have it do your quotes for you and have them charge them at the end with it. So like it can create basically an invoiceable item at the end of that. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you could. Yeah, it's pretty nifty. It
Thanks,
seems to be. Oh, son of a. Oh, it's back.
What happened?
Phone.
So cool.
It seems to be free. And then there's some limitations to like, it's got their branding on it, I think is the limitation right now. But it's got,
sure.
Yeah, some of the other little things you may want. But I can think of like 3 or 4 different ways I could use this right now. So it's pretty pretty sweet.
Yeah, I've been wanting to upgrade our RFQ form for a while now, make it a bit more frictionless and engaging and educational. That was the main thing I wanted, just to make it like more inbuilt qualification and education in the RFQ form. Maybe
so
even
there's
videos.
Like videos and images, and those can be, the cool thing is they can be like non-correlated to the Airtable fill. Like they don't have to be synced items. So you can have like items that precondition the form, right, for later on, and they can be images. Like, do you want this kind of shirt or this kind of shirt in your product? You know, like, but you could have it like, I guess, kind of quotient like, even where it's like choose optional things that could I use this for quotes? No, that'd be crazy.
Is it crazy? Is it?
I don't know. It would be kind of tough to build them. I don't think it would be as flexible as like I don't know. Interesting, because it does do math and stuff too. In the back end, you can do calculations and coding and oh, we got a new submission. Somebody who wants baby pants.
Oh, baby.
Justin.
Anyway, that's my exciting.
Cool. Thanks. Already sent it to Jay.
That was the non-software corner. So
What's new in Software Corner?
Do that after the fact.
Post intro. Did I tell you about making a client game in ChatGPT the other day?
No.
I think I've talked here about how like terrible I am at making cold calls or even like lukewarm sales calls. Like I just have this great resistance to it. Anyway, chatting to one of the business coaches, this was a couple of weeks ago now. She had some really good points, but basically she was like, Jam, I think you need to kind of gamify it somehow. So you don't think of it as like a cold call, but kind of try and make it more engaging for yourself. And I was like, that night, I was in ChatGPT, I just had it open. I was like, hey, Chatty, if I give you a list of like 100 names every morning when I type in this prompt, let's go, can you give me 3 random names and a pep talk about calling these people? And I was like, sure. So the concept worked. I then chickened out of feeding customer data into ChatGPT because it's not particularly private. But the fact that just the concept of it, the next day I just picked up the phone and made 3 calls. Like I didn't even use it in the end. It kind of just broke something for me. I was like, oh yeah, maybe this can be kind of challenging or fun. Anyway, since then I've had a lot more success, and just this week I think I've made 8 calls already. So well on the way.
Have you closed any deals?
No, nothing.
Get them to sign on the line that is dotted.
I'm not calling to make deals. I'm not at that stage. Just calling for a chat.
It's bad leads.
It's been good. Yeah, just kind of farming leads, putting us back on people's radar who we might not have chatted to for years in some cases. And
interesting.
Early days. I don't want to say I've cracked it yet, but I've made some progress, which has been good. But yeah, it was that gamifying that kind of got me over the line, which was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made this.
And now, This Week in ChatGPT.
You just whip that up then.
No, I did it before. In that hour you were sleeping.
Sure. Thanks. The other thing that's really helped recently, like when I had my COVID bender, I did a bunch of work on that weekend on our like vision statement and brand purpose, stuff like that. That's been really good the last couple of weeks, just having that on the wall and now on our website and starting to sort of talk about it in meetings and introduce it to clients of just like narrowing our focus and trying, it's early days, it's still very much a draft, but just starting to communicate like why we're here and what we're trying to do, and what we specialize in. So it's been kind of all feeding into a bit more motivation and drive. It's been good.
That's very nice. I've been using that same. I took your idea and I'd kind of been like vaguely or maybe like repeatedly using a very small version of your like ChatGPT threaded business coach idea agent type thing, and had never really like tried to reuse it. I'd always just let it disappear again. Be like, this is my thing, and then like just do it again like a madman later. And so I've actually been using one repeatedly, like you had noted, and it works pretty well. I mean, it's not giving me like stellar advice, but it feels better just to like have it be like aware of you, I guess, in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I suppose if I would replicate this, I wish you could turn on the browsing, because I've been playing with that quite a bit. The internet browsing is pretty amazing to watch it like in the background. Like you see what it's doing. It's like read this page, read failed, or like click this link, and it gets to the end, and like I had to read a privacy policy the other day and give analysis of it, and like I just said, can you read this, and gave it a link, and then I came back 5 minutes later and it's like, it seems pretty normal by privacy policy standards, don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's nice. But I haven't really gotten anything like amazing, and I think part of that's the way I've been asking it, and I don't know. In the end, it is just trying to guess the best next word all the time, right? Like it's not actually intelligent. It is just a thing that's like throwing words together in pleasing ways. It seems to be more and more helpful, but I guess aside from it being this fancy new thing, like I do have to remind myself lately, like my brain thinking about these things should be better than it, maybe it's giving me different ways to think about it.
Yeah,
but
I think
it's an interesting thought.
If it can help, like for me, someone who's not great with words and certainly not great at sort of processing lots of words, I'm finding it incredibly useful as an aid for my brain to think about things in more detail. And also just the kind of persistence to keep exploring a topic. Like I do this thing where I'll jump to a conclusion or a solution, and then I'll be like, cool, that's done. Next.
Yeah.
Whereas because of how the way we interact with it, I'm finding it really good to just like work through things and rewrite the prompt and look at things in different ways. And I keep printing stuff out. Like I keep like copying and pasting summaries out of GPT and like printing them, physically highlighting them, and then kind of using that as like a cool, put that on the wall to remind me about these things.
Sure.
I do have a sense though of like the pace at which you can burn through ideas and huge amounts of information. I'm getting a bit of a like sort of an adrenaline rush from that. I think because it's just so different how my brain usually processes. The pace is so different how my brain usually works with particularly text-based information. So I'm getting this sort of high, but also a bit of like just mental exhaustion from it. Of like I've just burned through so many ideas, and my brain's like has overclocked itself trying to keep up, and that's pretty weird.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes I'll pull stuff out, like, and there's stuff on our help desk now, our internal articles that are like, I got this from GPT, prefacing before I paste it in there, like in particular yesterday. I can never remember how to do the M98, like call a subprogram in Fanic. And so I finally just I asked it how to do it. I was like, here's the end of my code. I want to add this fan cycle to clear off the parts. I can never remember how to do it. And it gave me it. And so I copied all that in, but I make sure to like always preface, like, I don't want to go through it. The point usually is just to remind myself that if somebody else stumbles on this later, like, don't trust it blindly. Like this is a early robot.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it. speaking of robots and automation, we were thinking about doing our next secret show kind of on the topic of automation, and wanted to call out to our Patreon members who get the secret show what questions you might have in that space. And I think, Saunders put it really well recently talking about automation, that automation doesn't have to be like robot arms and like what we think of sort of as industrial automation, but like it can be really simple things too, like, an Airtable form like is a form of automation. Yep. Or like using Zapier or all these little digital tools that help us sort of work more efficiently. So I think, if anyone on the Patreon has questions, or, if you're not on the Patreon and you'd have a burning question about that you want to ask us and get us to explore in a whole episode in more depth, send us a message.
Yeah. There's a link that will make it a little easier for us to collect these things in the show notes. Fill out a little Airtable form to automate that for us. It's very simple. Very simple. Yeah, I don't know. I wrote that down because I've been thinking about it. I've heard other people, on other CNC podcasts talking about it. I just have this feeling of FOMO. I think there's a lot to it, right? Like you said, I feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing in 2023 with automation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just hash that out with you. So
yeah, awesome. Sounds good. I have a similar sense. Yeah, that'd be great. Cool. So we will, await your questions and record that secret show for the Patreon.
Hey, it's Don, here to cut the chit-chat. You like tools, CNC machines, and getting into the nitty-gritty of product design and manufacturing? Join us on the secret show exclusive to our Patreon members. Head over to patreon.com/parts department and sign up. No fluff, just the good stuff. Not fluffing the good stuff, just shit. Go sign up.
Yep. Soon.
Nice.
So I have excuse me. Oh, yeah. Little bubbly water. So I have an initial end-of-life guide. I kind of just did it in the last half an hour, screwing around. I said, give you a link there. I tried to do the very most basic thing that we talked about before. And I think the extra hour of you having slept in on accident gave me those couple things. I was like, oh, I need to do that. And I took awesome. The Airtable, and honestly, most of it's just like linking things. I ended up creating, I think, 2 new tables inside of the products where one was just about materials. And so I had just, the way I'm dealing with it now is like linking materials to products. And the products come from our normal product list. And then I added, I guess, a field inside of the product page itself that is, I think I just called it disposal advice, product disposal guide. And so the idea was at this point, I'm just putting bullet points in disassemble tool holder parts and recycle at local place. And it's as most basic as possible. And there'll be some that's a little trickier. I've yet to figure out how you take neodymium magnets out and what do you do with those? So there's stuff that I don't have answers for, but it's now easy to just continue to add to it. And I think I'll probably do another table that's shared on this article that's specifically materials and what you can do with materials instead of it being about the product. And so that kind of an easy way to just begin and add to as we go.
Really cool. I mean, just the fact that we spoke about it a week ago and now you've started it is impressive. But what a cool thing to have, all product businesses should have some version of this. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm hoping to make it better and better.
Is that just an Airtable embed on that page?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it works pretty well.
It's a gallery. I do that for a few things where you can embed the gallery and then you can filter only what you want to show on there. And then sometimes they work okay. And so I usually link to it as well.
It's cool how I, as a user, can filter as well. If I had sort of thousands of records in there, I could just look for ATC or, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice one, man. That's awesome.
I think it's interesting. Part of that speed, which I was saying, I feel like of all the Airtable things I've made or been a part of making here, I think that it took, I don't want to scare people away. For my brain, it took me 5 years basically to get to a place where I started to make good from the start. Like they were pretty good, well set up things, and be able to interrelate them between like our inventory items that are really never public. They're just like, you know, where did we buy this thing? What is the link to it? And we use those to end up making labels for like little, you know, containers that just get printed off with a little label maker. And so that's just straight out of Airtable. And now it took me years to get to this point too, because it used to be only me making these by hand. And then finally, like in the last 6 months, I've kind of gotten Ricky into it. And he's just like, every time we get a new thing, it's dumped like immediately into one of these, and now it's organized. And
yeah, that's so good.
so just once you get to a place, it feels like then you can really use the data really well. Finally.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Nice to start.
Very cool.
What's your toe dipping?
I don't know. I don't remember what
Wasn't
that
me.
means. What am I dipping my toe into? No idea. This is why I shouldn't write obscure notes in the show notes.
I
only wrote that
I
like
remembered.
about half an hour ago too, and it's already just...
Oh boy.
Oh no, that's what I was getting. That's what it means. Toe dipping. Dipping my toe back into digital ad spend. So a week ago, I'm of the opinion that, you know, we turned ads off because we didn't know what was working and what was working. Couldn't get a clear sense of that. So we went cold turkey, and it's been 2.5 months now, I think. And maybe more. And so I have this sense of like just wanting to try one idea at a time. If I'm going to go crawling back, which I think we need to because sales are terrible, I want to sort of try one idea at a time and try and get clear like feedback on what works and what doesn't, as much as is possible in this weird world of digital ad marketing. Anyway, so last Friday, I think it was, I kind of looked through all my recent reels of what had the highest engagement. I was like, all right, cool. Let's just boost one of these ones that has performed quite well and got a good response. Let's put $500 behind it over the next week and just see what that does. And it's like, I haven't looked this morning, but yesterday, in 6 days, it had sort of resulted in about 1,200 website visits directly.
Wow.
Had accumulated 200 or 300 new followers on Instagram, and and just boosted our impressions from about, our rolling average was dropping on Instagram, and it was sort of had to drop from sort of 20,000 impressions a month down to, it was almost down to 15,000 impressions a month. And then it's just boosted that. Yesterday, I sent you a screenshot, I think it was up to 55,000 just from that 1 week of a boosted post. Anyway, I'm a bit sour about it because I was like, of course the platform's going to respond well when you put money into it. Like, that's what they want. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm trying to run a business and get leads in and increase our sort of funnel of engagement. So it's like, cool. If this, it's a good experiment, good thing to sort of see as like a clear trial over a week. And yeah. Interesting.
That I've ever said that I probably in our bitching about this, that I have this weird feeling that like, I always think about when they get a bunch of clicks all of a sudden, like, I don't know if you ever watched the analytics, it just like suddenly you'll get like 20 clicks out of nowhere from like Facebook ads. And it's just like, are those real people? Or are we just seeing bots get sent all of a sudden? And I can't get over, like, sure, if you just want engagement, if you're not even trying to get conversions, how could you ever prove it's not just bots? Like, you'd have to, I mean, I don't know how. Maybe somebody with way more technical knowledge, but like, obviously, if you're trying to get conversions, then that's not going to benefit them unless they're willing to pay for your product and receive it as a bot.
Yeah, I guess you need, like, ultimately we need the conversion as the ultimate. Part of the way I targeted this little boosted post is like we've identified which suburbs in Melbourne our sort of key target market is in, and it's quite a small area.
Interesting.
In terms of our sort of, not our whole market obviously, but just like our dream in a quite a consolidated area. So I pretty much just ran a radius around that area and said, just focus on this.
Wow.
And so the fact that we're picking up followers, presumably from that area, is like, cool, I feel that's a success. Like if more people who live in these like eco-conscious developments that we know are in this area, then that's a win. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. I mean, yeah, I don't know. If you do it's probably hard to see the cost of acquisition of those product. I don't know how people do all that crap. Like they concatenate all their data from all their sources and figure all that out. But like for the pricier products, I can imagine that $500 would be well served by 2 people making a purchase in the next month. You know, like one person.
Potentially, yeah. Yeah.
Like, and it's going to be likely probably more if you're getting hundreds of people as followers. Like the percentages probably pan out to a couple there over time.
Yeah, and when like last year when we were calculating our cost of acquisition and it was climbing and we're like, cool, no, this isn't working. You know, we're doing it against every web sale. So, because it's impossible to tell where it's saying like it's all web sales and all advertising spend, basically just do the maths and see what our cost of acquisition was. And it was just like, kept going up. So,
Sure.
Yeah. Fun times.
Man, I don't know. Sales has been weird for us too.
That's it.
It's maybe a little ahead of last month, but it also, we can just have like a week where we basically sell nothing. And it's just like, why? Why? Even, you know, with same like good traffic, or like sometimes it's lower traffic and higher sales. And I don't know. It's just silly.
I think like the scale of our businesses, both of us, we're dealing with such small order volumes. Like number of orders is like just like you can count them on your hand, I'm guessing, for you too. It's like the difference between a good week and a bad week is just like, you know, 3 orders or something. It's like, it's very easy for the numbers to be hugely skewed and feel like really lumpy, I think, just because of the volume, the low volume we're dealing with. So I've been really despondent about that in the past too. It's just like, why is this so up and down? It's like, well, yeah, if a good week is 15 orders and a bad week is 8 orders, it's like, that's life.
Right. So on that topic, I just chatted with a client that kind of just getting to know each other. I've known about him for a long time, another business. First time we've really worked with him. And he was very willing to share information. And I, you know, same with me about just things, which I find, like we've always talked about, it's always helpful. It's endearing. It's nice to share those things. There's kind of like that weird small business camaraderie, especially like in your own town, I think, at least for me. And he's saying that of their products, they sell kind of a series of things that are similar. I think I heard him right. I think he said they make 60 to 80 of these assemblies a week and ship them a week. And I was just doing the math and I was like, oh my good grief. Like that is like crazy. And most of it was coming through their Shopify. I thought, They were getting maybe sales from something else, a different platform. But like I was like, where's all your traffic coming from? Like, how do you get the traffic? He's like, I don't know. I don't know where it comes. I know some of it's from Google, but I don't really know. It's just I was like, is it straight from social media? And he's like, not really, no. And I was like, what? How?
That's amazing.
It's amazing. Can you imagine 60 orders a week?
I don't know what the widget is you're talking about, but yeah, that'd be nice.
I can send it to you. I don't care to blow them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
crazy.
Let's work towards that. Hey.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask my PDX CNC thread on how to get to 60 orders a week. It'll tell me like start like today. I was asking it. What was the thing I asked it? What are some unique products that we could focus on next? And knowing our business. One of them that's great. Innovative safety equipment. Like what? What? Like flashing vests for the workshop? Like what are we gonna do there? Custom tool holders, which I find to be entertaining as well. It's like what would be customized about them? Like that would be. I can't think of anything. Particularly like the innovation in tool holding is not probably something that I'm going to come up with because I don't know the engineering behind it. Yeah.
I just asked the question of my LB agent, which is where like my sort of core business chat is.
Yep.
And it said, invest in digital marketing, enhance your website, email marketing, improve customer service, leverage social proof, upselling and cross-selling, promotions and discounts, retargeting campaigns, collaborations and partnerships, and focus on mobile users. Great. All very valid things,
Let's do it.
Pretty generic. Yeah. If we made improvements in any of those things, it would help. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Where you at with that trial of, was it Vectorworks?
Yes, that is an email I need to respond to this morning. That's where that's at. They very kindly offered to help me build out some logic as a bit of a trial because I was struggling with it. I had a meeting with them, and then they were like, "Hey, we've had some ideas. Can you just send us some of the models, and we're just going to try and nut out the logic of." Because I think they didn't have an immediate answer when I spoke to them of the best way to sort of structure kit parts within it. So there's an email waiting for me that I need to jump in and have a look at.
Sure. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we jump ship?
This is the end.
Do some things? Yeah. Oh, daddy. I didn't say that. It wasn't me. It's Justin with his buttons.
I love the disclaimers. I have this other one I didn't add in here.
You'll start synthesizing my voice next.
It's coming, I'm sure. This one, I know. I found this one in an edit one time. I like that a lot. It's one of the gem trademark noises.
Oh, nice. I like it. I can make that my message tone.
To yourself. Put it on your wife's phone.
Nice. Sometimes.
All right. No. Every time your wife gets a text from you, it says,
"Oh, daddy." Dude, let's get out of here. Quick.
All right, see ya.
Bye. Oh, Laura's calling me.
Answer it if you want. We can end.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.
See you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.